Remember? King David was dancing when they brought
All right.
the covenant.
So let's do it officially. Rabbi Feld, nice to meet you here.
Avram.
Sorry. Rabbi Avram Feld.
It's Avram's good.
Avi Feld, nice to
Do I
meet
call
you.
you names?
I'm sorry, I don't want to call you names.
Rabbi.
Okay, so Avi, thank you for joining us. And Hannes, thank you again to meet you. It's always a pleasure in the last few days. So I just want to say to my Chabad friends that follow us, Avi Feld has had VIP service with the Rebbe for 20 years, helping save Jewish children from cults and from all kinds of issues. So he has a lot of respect from the Rebbe, and he worked together with the Rebbe on saving Yiddish and Neshamas in the 70s, all the way
Before the throne effect.
So we're very happy to, as part of the Sanhedrin Initiative Scouting Mission, meet Avi and talk to him about his expertise. Of course, learn as much as possible. Of course, we will have him as one of the advisors on the Sanhedrin board, on the advisory board. So anyone who needs to help with these issues, if they have people that they need help, they can talk to Avi. He's specialty in this field. And we're here again with Hans from the Temple Coin.org, and we're talking now about the conference that we're doing. Some of the information we might leave for the public, some of it we might edit out, depends on its nature. So,
How spicy it is.
how spicy it is, exactly. So, as we were saying, we decided that the nation of Ephraim, the ultra-Orthodox Noahites, will put together a draft of legislation, of law, of terms of service, based on the Torah Shebachtav and Torah Sheba'al Peh, to create an alliance between the Jewish people. So the ultra-Orthodox Noahide nation of Ephraim with the Jewish people that are fulfilling the Torah and the mitzvahs. And we on our hand will also create a draft of legislation that goes according to halacha, according to Jewish law, according to Jewish custom, according to the Rambam, according to Shulchan Aruch, and so on. So they will use the Olam Hazeh law, this world's law, the Roman law, and we will use Torah law, and we will create a contract together, unifying both of us to push forward in fulfilling the prophecies, establishing a Sanhedrin, a court of justice, and appointing a king, as it says in the Torah, and fulfilling the prophecies of eradication of Amalek and building the temple. So what's in common with both of us is the nation of Ephraim and the children of Israel, the Jewish people and the lost tribes, is that we are all coming back home, we're all coming back to our Father, which is Hashem, and we're all using the Torah to connect to Hashem, and we want to be part of what it says, it's a tree of life for those who hold on to it, and its supporters are satisfied. So we want to be part of this special unity project that we're very excited to be part of in this day and age. And of course, Avi Feld is very, very well learned in all these things. He actually is Ulf, which is the leader of the nation of Ephraim. He's been his rabbi all along the way. He's been advising him on how to not to mess up, because the Torah is very complicated, and there's a lot of ways to misunderstand it and misrepresent it. So Avi Feld was able to help and be available to all for many, many years. And we're very, very happy to meet him and have him part of the advisory board now. And let's talk a little bit about the...
Maybe I can say something to this, or add something to this. Of course, as I learned about, I met you personally the last days, Avi Feld, and of course, it's for sure to say that he's really a specialist in first in the tribes, in recognizing cults. And so it's not only that he teaches Ulf about Torah law, of course he did also, but he's very well experienced in how to deal with the Christians, how to deal with the Gentiles, how to deal with the Noahites, with the lost tribes. So he has a big experience when we finally want to come together, Ephraim and Judah. His knowledge is very useful for this process. So this I just wanted to add.
Thank you guys. Obviously, a few words.
Well, I'm sitting between two mountains here. The rabbi is a pillar of light, and here is the prototype, the ultra-Orthodox Ephraimite, ultra-Orthodox Noahide. It's historic. The main theme of the whole Torah is the reestablishment of God's kingdom, which is the 12-tribe kingdom. We have many, many things today which show we're on the eve of redemption. Right? Don't you know we're on the eve of redemption? So one of the things that if we were in a restaurant and we were looking at a menu, one of the things that we need to see now is the ingathering of a reawakening of our 12 tribes. The bones have to come back to life. So we're seeing that all over the world and for many years. People are coming through the Hebrew roots of their mistakes. They're coming back towards authentic Torah. And that's it's exciting. It's world news. It should be breaking news. 10 tribes are waking up. Jeremiah and Ezekiel, their prophecies are coming about right in front of our eyes.
All right, so thank you for that, Avi. And so I want to talk a little bit, just a brief again, about the Sanhedrin and the way the advisory board works. So all the advisors have something very, very unique, something special that they bring, an area of expertise that other advisors might not be as good at. So our job as advisors is to try, the ACHIM, the advisors to the Sanhedrin, are first of all to translate the message of the Shoftim to the rest of the world, each one of us to his community. And there's language is very, very important in the whole Sanhedrin, and understanding the other person and understanding the subtext. You know, people today, they say, I said the same thing 1,000 times, yeah? So the issue is that if you say it the same exact way, it's a chance that the other guy is not going to get what you're saying. It's probably something wrong with the delivery. So when it comes to the Sanhedrin, it's very, very precise that the Sanhedrin needed to speak all the languages and understand all the cultures, because there's so many things going on in the world and we just live in our little bubble. We sometimes don't see that. So for the most part, the Sanhedrin, besides having practical expertise, like Hans is in charge of the temple, a gold and silver trust of the nation of Ephraim with the temple coins, and we helping us with the Machatzit HaShekel and helping us with a business strategy to bring all the gold and silver to Yerushalayim to build a temple, but on the way also make sure that it doesn't hurt anybody and it's done in a peaceful way and a profitable way for those who are involved in it. And Avi Feld is expertise, as we just spoke about cults and different cultures. So this is very, very important that it should be part of the Sanhedrin. We're very appreciative that you joined us on our little escapade here. And so let's talk also about the conference on Har Tzion. So last year we had the Sanhedrin Establishment Conference in Yerushalayim at the Beis Chabad in Baka, I think, Baka neighborhood. And the Shliach there was very generous to give us the place. We had the Kohanim, we had the Leviim singing, we had the advisors, we had the judges, we had Professor Avraham Ehrlich, we had Rafi on the economy. So we had very, very specific, important topics that were discussed, and we had a very good time, and we spoke very to the point. This year we did not plan a conference. We were so busy with the Sanhedrin Initiative Scouting Mission, collecting more and more advisors and judges, and Bahashgacha Pratis, through that work, Rabbi Berger that we spoke to, offered us, well, why don't you come do a conference on Mount Zion, on Har Tzion, which is the seat of the kingdom of the Jewish king. So Har Maria is the house of Hashem, the Beis HaMikdash, and Har Tzion is the house of the king. So that's where David HaMelech is, and so on. So of course we said for sure, and of course because we're involved with the nation of Ephraim, which has supported us so much, and we're involved with them, we decided we're going to make this alliance, we're going to make a treaty, we're going to make a cooperation between the ultra-Orthodox Noahides, as far as the Jews are concerned, and the lost tribes of Israel with the Jewish people, as the Torah being in terms of service, this is not, like Avi Feld said, this is historic, this is a monumental moment, and we're very, very excited to do this. And we hope to transfer, coming from Jewish law, coming from canonic law, and secular law, binding together in unity, closing an agreement on the Torah according to Hashem's will. It's very, 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 very spiritually reactive, exciting. And Rabbi Berger is a Hasidic Rav. We have Chabad, we have Sephardic Rabbanim. We're probably going to have. We're going to invite, of course, all 6 of our judges to the conference. I'm sure many of them will arrive, more than 3, and we'll have many of our advisors come. And I'm sure many of the nation of Ephraim will join us. And we hope and pray that Ulf Diebel, the leader of the nation of Ephraim, also makes it to the conference. So we're looking forward to this great historic moment. And of course, we plan on inviting, as Ulf pointed out yesterday, political leaders from Otzma Yehudit, from the right-wing parties, because this is truly a glitch in the matrix. This is a new way of thinking, and this is a new way of looking at how to go forward, just focusing on the positivity that Hashem gave us, on the Torah and on the Jewish law, and just focusing on the prophecy. And I think with this light, the darkness that we see around us, the economy collapsing, and all the other great darknesses that we see in our day, in the 3 realms of adultery, idol worship, and adultery, idol worship, and bloodshed, gilur ayot, shvichut damim, and avodah zarah. These 3 things will be changed by Torah, avodah, and gemilut chasadim. The study of Torah, the prayer, and the avodah, which is the service on the temple, and gemilut chasadim is charity. So we hope to change the value system of the world, which is the internet and the adultery and the military-industrial complex and the bloodshed and the idol worship, thinking that a man can be God. And we want to change that dynamic, that narrative, to a narrative of the 3 pillars of value should be the Torah study, the prayer, and the charity. And those should change that system. And of course, the value shouldn't just be papers that mankind print, but it should be gold and silver, like Hashem put value into the gold and silver by commanding us to build a temple, because Hashem saw us serving the golden calf. So Hashem says, "Oh, you guys are so excited about gold and silver. This is my dirt in this world, and you guys are so excited. So let's use that dirt and build a temple. Maybe you guys will get over yourselves and get over your idol worship, and you can convert your enthusiasm to something that Hashem actually cares about and actually is important." Of course, the main ingredient of this to make it work, and why we're so excited and why we're so optimistic, is because it's all about unity. And as I told Hans yesterday, unity is the only thing that allows this to move forward. But we never know what's the main thing. Is it just a building on Har Zion or on the Beis HaMikdash, or was it Hashem's initial goal to create unity and to collect the children? Maybe that was the main thing for us to learn. And that's what we should always remember. Of course, I'm very happy that this is an opportune time in history. We have the right-wing, ultra-Orthodox in power. This is an unprecedented moment. And this is why we're so excited, and we're just getting started. And we plan on going to the Knesset and riling up the exile narrative, and injecting the Geula narrative in all ways and shapes and forms. And of course, I just want to point out, thank you so much to the nation of Ephraim. We hit the 10,000 fundraiser of the Sanhedrin initiative to allow us to do these meetings, to help me drive all the way from Katzrein every 5 minutes and run around like a chicken without a head. But I'm happy to do it because it's for Hashem's work. And I thank you so much for the nation of Ephraim. And we'd like to welcome Alex and Ulf and all the rest of the guys that will be here on Pesach Sheni, and all the rest of the guys that come visit. You're welcome. I hope Hannes had a good time here, and we'd be happy to give everyone a good time and show them around the Holy Land. All right. Anyone else? Hannes, you want to talk about
I
it?
keep it very short. We have a very next meeting with Rabbi Berger on Mount Zion. For us, it's for me personally, it is on Mount Zion. There will be redemption. It's said Mount Zion is also minted on one of our temple coins. because of course it's a prophetic place and address. It's just it's an address at the end. So nobody keeps care on this mountain too much. And Rabbi Berger also already said to us he wants to purify Mount Zion, and it's a great place to do that. Purify when you purify from idol worshipping on Mount Zion, it will have an effect to the world. This is what was his words. So if we will meet him now again, I will be very happy to meet with you both. Then you are already then 3 rabbis.
All right,
it's fine for me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Avi, would you like a closing statement?
Zon shir mal shir, amalos b'shuva Hashem, eshuva tzion noyinu kichomim, ozyomu v'agoyim, higdil Hashem la'asot imeni. The Gentiles will say, look what God's doing for you people. And then what do we say? Then we recognize it. We need Gentiles, people who are not officially Hebrew yet, and to tell us, guys, God is working with you. Look what God is doing for these people. And that inspires Jews worldwide. Bibi Netanyahu said we needed Christian Zionism to back up Jewish Zionism to come back to the land. We needed Gentiles to say, guys, God is with you. Look what God is doing for you. And that helps inspire the Jewish people because we have so many troubles. So many people want to destroy and kill us. Assimilation and temptation is a terrible obstacle. So we need that little
Zets,
that little kick in the rear end. And you're providing that.
Yeah,
You guys are saying, look what God's doing for you guys. Move it, keep going.
And it's a little bit like, hey, get your act together. It's the same like Trump says it also to Trump says this also to the Jews. And we want to guide you also a little bit with secular law and canon law to bring it finally to Torah law back again.
So this is also on the way here. I said the same thing to the guys I took here, some yeshiva boys. I told them, well, Hans already heard this from us in a different meeting. Yeah. So we said that the Jewish people are studying the Torah the whole time, but they don't believe it. And then when you have the nation, the lost tribes of Israel, they're experiencing, they don't have the Torah for 10, 20, 30, 40 years in their life, and they can suck up Hashem's presence just from being in Elam Hazeh, just from being in the world. And when they see the Torah, they're like, oh, this is what I was feeling, this is what it is. And the Jewish people need to know that everything that they've been learning is real. In other words, you have the neshama and the guf, the body and the soul. So you have the body just a lump over there, and the body's like, oh, this is the soul. This is what needs to happen. And then the soul is like, wow, this I'm supposed to go there. And because we're like just like the body and the soul is so different, they don't recognize each other because it's like, I can see
worlds.
Yeah. 1 cup of tea, 2 cups of tea, 3 cups of tea. But what's a body and a soul? That's why there's such a blur. We don't. But once we understand that it's like putting the plug in the wall and connecting the electricity, connecting the unity, is exactly what turns on the machine. When we say the machine,
I just want to say something about the unity because of course, you're thinking of understanding, figure it all out that mankind will do peace at the finish line. Is a great stuff, but you have to be aware that there already the last 20 years maybe there's a unity from the left side in the world, like even the Pope. We are human families. They tolerate everything, they love everything, they understand and feel for everything, and then they say talk of sometimes some kind of wrong unity.
Right. So when we say unity, that's a very good point, Anzal. It means a unity to serve Hashem according to the Torah, without idol worship, without adultery, and without the bloodshed. And according to the 7 laws of Noah, like Rabbi Ben Sion Gagola spoke to us about, and according to the 613 laws of Noah, of the 613 laws of the Torah. In other words, when we say unity, it's between those who really are trying to seek Hashem and the truth and justice.
So-
It's not unity with everybody and everything. There's good and there's evil. There's the service of Hashem and the service of mankind
The Tower of Babel was a unity
against Hashem.
against Hashem. So that had a confusion.
Had to
had
end.
come.
Yeah.
So we're only talking about keep the 7, go to heaven, 7, put a 70, and keep the 7 plus. And that's it. This gives a common denominator. We see what could unite us is more important than what divides us.
Yes.
Of
So-
course, it's a unity between the lost tribes and the house of Judah.
Yes.
And this is a big unity.
That's a family reunion.
A family reunion.
Yes, and then with this we also fix the trauma in the family between Yaakov and Esav, which were twin brothers, and they were born from the same mother, and Yitzchak never threw away Esav, and any deals and any fighting that Yaakov and Esav had were between themselves, buying and selling the birthright, getting mad at each other. So really, Hashem really relies on us to resolve the issues of Rome and Israel and Judaism. And so let's hope that Hashem likes what we're doing, and this creates, in Chassidus we call this a isarusa de le'ela, a arousal from above, when we show Hashem, look, we're trying, and the isarusa de le'tata is from,
We're doing
from below.
the arousing from down here.
Right, but
We
what,
want to arouse up
but
there
when,
to
right, but when we
send
do,
a great influence.
when we do Torah and mitzvahs in general, that's the regular isarusa de le'tata. But when we focus on what Hashem wants, which is the specific blitz of the Geula, which what does Hashem want? We can worry for ourselves when we put on tefillah and we daven and whatever. But when we worry for Hashem's things, which is like the Sanhedrin, the Melech, that's isarusa de le'ela. It's like, oh, I know what Dad wants. He wants he wants a house. I know what Dad wants. Dad wants you to behave nicely, not to fight. Dad wants you to do this. But when we focus on that, that's isarusa. This is my name is Yosef, and the avodah of Yosef is a isarusa de le'ela to entice Hashem to come down to this world, because we're going so quickly in the progress of the things that are important to Him. But of course, yes, the fact that we're also doing it in this world is a isarusa de le'sata. So it's both together. Yes.
You did a great job the last days and the last weeks to mention this also. And we are so thankful for your work also, of course, for you. I tried to tell it before also already. So I'm happy to reconnect with the Jewish brothers. So maybe
Amen.
we go to our next date, and thank you for the meeting, and this is my finish.
All right.
Don't forget your tea.
All right.
Tea for 2 and 2 for tea.